Why learn Python when there is AI? So what's the point of even sitting down? Because I can go to ChatGPT, write down, hey, can you create this? Hey, can you rename this? And ChatGPT will give us something basically. So that was a big question. And a little bit also in the next few months, maybe that will be like something even good. So that is a very common question I get. And I think that's very important to address it. Even for people who are more familiar with Python, it's still a question I think it's important to address. So what's up with Python versus AI basically? So the idea of AI is just the next step of automation. It's the conscious automation. If you think about how things work, a node network is basically a visualized program. You put some nodes together and they program each other together. Basically, we put blocks together and then we basically have a result. It calculates with each other. You can do some in-betweens, and then it calculates and color grades and whatever. It changes the image and has a result. So basically, a node network is a visualized coding. Python is one level deeper. We can do much more because maybe if there is no node, we cannot do this action. But Python can do it if you can write it, basically. So let's break it down into the big three steps of Python, machine learning, which is part of AI, and AI itself. So when we look at Python, what is Python and scripting for? It's to automate workflows. It's basically, make things faster and make things possible. So what does it do? The most common use for Python is pipeline. Save, load, export, import, publish, all the things that help us outside of our artistic work. We create something, we press a button, it will be exported, blah, blah. We press a button, it will be saved. We press a button, we open the shot and the asset. Awesome. We don't have to think about it. We don't have to make mistakes. Fantastic. What do we need? Coding skills. Like you cannot do Python or any scripting basically without that. Let's look into machine learning, which starts to become also a more important player. So what is machine learning? It's basically optimizing results. It can, through learning, it can look at thousands of examples for something, thousands of dogs to identify them, thousands of cars to make a car sharper rendering or whatever, and can optimize it. For example, where can we use it in visual effects? We can use it for like optimizing rigging, correcting, optimizing animation also, make it a little bit more correct. The animator does maybe a more drafty thing, and then the machine learning tool will optimize it to be more realistic. Stylization, we can do fast rendering and so on. I will show you an example about that from NVIDIA and so on. So what do we need? A lot of input data. And in most cases, we need scripting as well because it's just data. Machine learning is mostly data, and we need to figure out how to use this data. And if it's not already like defined, as I will show you later, then you will still have this, okay, I have data, but I need to use it. So scripting is an important part of it. And then finally, we have AI. So AI, is, especially at the moment in the next few years, is intelligent, but not smart. So it knows a lot, but it has a problem to find the solution for our situation. It's very hard for it to find it. So it's very generic in most cases. The solution that you get are generic. So what does it do? It can create our code snippets for sure. It can create images and videos and can help us to understand. If we don't understand a problem, a math problem, or we can throw it even some code and say, hey, what does that mean? AI generally, especially if it's a high level AI, can help us do it. But when it comes to the details, it starts to become very blurry. And the more individual the problem is, in a certain studio, in a certain software, in Maya, in Houdini, suddenly it becomes blurry. So what does it need at the end of the day? It needs a lot of supervision, management, and guidance, because the AI tool will not understand all the context, all the background, all the things. Just because it gives you an answer doesn't mean it's a good answer, doesn't mean it's a working answer. It just means that's what it come out with. So there is a certain level where all of these is necessary to use. So basically, in all of these levels, you will see that understanding scripting, understanding Python, the technical understanding will help you to go through all three steps, not only create things, but also work with optimization of machine learning and also work with optimization of assisting by understanding how AI works. A good example for our level of machine learning is this NVIDIA machine learning, the deep learning dynamic super resolution. There's an example with Prey, 145 FPS, full HD. This is the image. Great. Then they used the dynamic super resolution, which makes it sharper. We can go to 4K basically. It's our sharper image, but lower performance. We only have 108 FPS and so on if it's more taxing. So what they did, they trained a model, deep learning basically, and what the result is, the image is more or less as sharp as the other one, but the FPS is basically the same. A sharper image with the same results as we would have a full HD by using machine learning, basically. And that's all the things that we can implement in the future, all the elements that can help us. The other side, the next level, AI basically, that is the big talk at the moment, is things like Comfy UI, for example, can help us to generate images, basically. And it help us to, generate background plates, maybe even the full image. And that's the level that we are playing. And that's where Python at the moment is laying around. Let me give you an example where I see this exactly work out. So we recently had this TD meetup, Copycat, Machine Learning in Nuke, with Luca Prestini from Foundry. And we talked about Copycat. So Copycat is a machine learning node in Nuke that allows you to give a few input frames, basically an input video, for example. For example, this boy has a bruise here. And you give a few input frames that are corrected. So you remove that, and the node will correct all the rest of the frames. So you have 100 frames, you correct 5, and it will correct the other 95. So it saves time, a lot of time, actually. And so we tried it. So at this example, I had some headphones, black one here, a microphone here from the 21 Artist Show. And then I remove them, and then I throw it into the software, basically, and that was the result. So it corrected another frame by this input, and it was fine. And so it started to become iterational. I needed to understand, I needed to optimize, and so on. And I started to, change settings, change the input, and so on. And what I noticed during that work is everything that I know about Python and the basic understanding of machine learning helped me to use this node. Because it's a machine learning node, I understood how it thinks, why sometimes it gets actually worse. Because the more input doesn't automatically make better results, because the machine learning maybe overcorrects, for example. And so the main idea, besides Python being someone that handles and gives you an better way to work with it, Python, for example, can give you a better understanding of machine learning, and machine learning can give you an understanding of the tools. Like if you use a machine learning tool, if you use Comfy UI, you suddenly have an easier way to work with it because you understand how programming and scripting and logical distribution works. But you can also do much more things. For example, we can make Python tools for Copycat. For example, we can auto-build a network. We can auto-render a whole sequence instead of doing each shot manually. We can find automatically ground truth, which means certain images from the shot to define as these are the things that I want to check as the ground truth. We can combine different elements and plugins together to create that. We can write our own Copycat node with Python skills. And we can use existing machine learning modules for Python in Nuke. Basically, we use a machine learning module, maybe for tracking, maybe for rotoscoping or whatever. And since machine learning is mostly used actually around Python, it's one of the best situations. Most researchers who do machine learning actually create stuff in Python. Python is basically the best gateway into machine learning in general. But this is basically the main idea. And also we had the one about machine learning with Paul Kaniak from Pixar, from the 21 Artist Show podcast, and you could find also on YouTube. And we talk exactly, it's like, how is the future of scripting and where is the connection with machine learning and AI? And at the end of the day, even if you look at everything that I just said and ask yourself, why should I learn Python, or why should I improve in Python? Why should I do anything regarding that? Because there is a tool out there. The simple reason is machine learning in AI is limited and technical. If you are an artist and want to use Copycat, it's really difficult because it will ask you to understand how it thinks. If you don't give Copycat the right input and you don't know how to optimize it in the way that how it thinks, you will actually make worse results. So Python not only allows you to connect the dots better and make the tools more efficient, it also allows you to work with them better, to understand why ChatGPT gives you this weird answer and not the one that you should get. And so to understand why some machine learning algorithms don't do it. It's an active and passive bridge to actually the future of machine learning and AR.